settled. I want you all to stand up for the jury and all that good stuff. The defendant's in the courtroom, and we have a media request before the juror comes in from NBC Network News. Does the state take the same position they have?
Yes, Judge.
And does the defendant as well?
Yes, Judge.
Do you wish to articulate anything else on the record? Okay. I'm going to approve it. That's fine. It's like herding cats, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I think one of them was a smoke break, so we got downstairs.
Is there a place people smoke? That's probably where some people are. While we're waiting, Mr. Boring, about how long are you in your questioning generally?
I think the way I had some of it broken down, probably about 2/3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking maybe half. That's good.
It could be, but I think a lot of the earlier ones were broken down in several different subparts, so I'm hoping it's about 2/3 through.
That's okay. I'm not hurrying you. I'm just trying to gauge some thoughts and things.
Judge, I don't know if we're worried about them coming in while we're talking. I didn't know if we wanted to, while we're waiting on them, go ahead and maybe make a record on those two jurors that we had this morning.
We can.
Okay.
What we can do is I'll be looking, when the door opens, I'll quit.
Okay. Thank you.
My notes would be that juror MT getting married September 22nd through 27th and honeymooning October 2nd through 12th. And the parties agreed that he be excused. Is that fair for the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that fair for the defense?
Yes, ma'am.
And that SG, his business is that he's a handyman service business. Also that his dog has cancer. He's afraid that he will lose business if he's on the trial. That will create him a financial hardship. There's an issue with regard to first offender treatment of a prior conviction. And that information will become known tomorrow morning. At this point, there is no legal cause for him to be excused, but we'll take up the issue of the first offender treatment in the morning when that information is revealed. Is that a fair statement for the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is that a
Yes,
fair
ma'am.
reflection from the defense? I think there's more rain coming. Apparently it's going to come in waves. It's totally different than what we're used to.
And Your Honor, on that juror, while we're waiting too, just if we're going to be taking up that issue again once we get that, he has several arrests on his criminal history. Just to kind of get through this, would you prefer that we just kind of hold those questions on him when we get to individual until we have everything?
I think so.
Okay.
Within reason. I mean, if you want me to wait 5 days, I'm not going to do that.
No, when we take it up, once we get that, if we get the paperwork tomorrow, then maybe we bring him back in just briefly. I'll talk about that.
Sure.
Thank you.
He's not juror 1.
Juror 6, I believe.
Okay.
I think we can cover everything else.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll be fine. You just need to remind me because I'll
Yeah.
forget.
Yes, Judge.
I fully intend to forget that.
No, no. Oh, it's not raining right now, so. We found her, Your Honor. We just put her in order.
Excellent, thank you so much.
Great.
All right, for the jury.
She took my man's money.
Oh,
He wants some pepper.
it can be pretty bad, I know. You don't have to sit.
Be seated, please. Please be seated.
Mr. Chestnut, we've got everybody, so we're not waiting on anybody at all. Perfect. All right, I'm sorry we had a little bit of an extra break, but they were wanting to identify, there's a little bit of a leak, and they wanted to identify it and get it fixed. And we all know what happens with a leak if you ignore it, it gets bigger and worse. So I thought it was worth taking a little bit of time to get it fixed. We're having, those of us that are from Cobb County are having to learn about rain down here. Apparently it comes in waves. Okay, at home, so you'll know about where we're from. The rain comes out of Alabama and it comes and then it leaves. So apparently it's different here, and I think we're going to enjoy learning a little bit about a different place. Mr. Boring, I think you're ready to resume.
Thank you. As y'all see, I have glasses on now, so hopefully I'll be able to identify y'all a little bit easier by number. We broke when we were talking about your familiarity with some social media applications and websites and things like that. Going back to that, I'm going to ask not just if you're familiar or heard about it, but who here uses Twitter? Uses Twitter, okay? All right. Juror 2, thank you. Juror 5. Juror 8. Okay. Juror 9. And Juror 12. Okay. Second panel. Juror 14. Juror 16. Bless you. Okay, anybody else? Second panel? No. Third panel? Okay, no hands. Anybody using Twitter? Okay. All right, how about the website, social media site, Reddit? R-E-D-D-I-T. Who here reads or uses Reddit? Okay. First panel, no hands. Second panel, Juror 21. Okay, thank you. Anybody in the third panel? Okay, no hands. Okay. How about the social media application or messaging service Kik? That's K-I-K. Who here is familiar with that or uses it? Okay. Well, let me rephrase that. That's going to be confusing. Who here, because I think there are not going to be as many hands, is familiar with or has heard the application messaging service Kick? Okay, we'll start with the first panel. Okay. Juror 2, thank you. Juror 7, thank you, ma'am. Juror 9. Juror 10. Juror 12. Okay, next panel. Second panel, Juror 16. Juror 18. All right, anybody else second panel? Okay, third panel. Okay, no hands. All right, how about the website Backpage? Who here is familiar with or heard of the website Backpage? Okay, first panel, Juror 2, thank you. Juror 10, thank you, ma'am. Anybody else first panel? Second panel? No one? Third panel? No one. How about the social media application or messaging service Whisper? Who here has heard of Whisper? Juror 2, thank you again. All right, Juror 8. Okay, and Juror 12. Okay, second panel. Juror 21. Okay. Third panel. Okay. Anybody want to guess which panel of the three of y'all are the youngest? You can tell from the responses on this. All right. How about the social media messaging application Scout? That's S-K-O-U-T. Scout. Okay. Oh, I think I trumped y'all. All right, first panel, nobody. Second panel, third panel, no hands. Okay. Now let's see this one. Everybody's probably going to raise their hands, so we may have to ask it the other way. Snapchat. Who here has heard of Snapchat? I mean, it goes from, like, I guess college kids used to use it. Now my kids are making funny faces and recording all the time on it with my wife. So all right, let me ask it this way then. Who's not familiar with Snapchat? Okay, I'm writing this down. Some of these I'm writing, like, not putting no beside it, and then when I change the question, I'm writing for you, juror number 3, no Snapchat. Okay.
Is that just familiar or using?
Let's say familiar with it. So if you're not familiar with it, okay. Okay, so juror number 3. Second panel. All right. Juror 14. Okay. Juror 22. Juror 23. Juror 25. Juror 33. And juror 35. Okay. Regarding I know some of you probably don't use social media hardly at all, so you're not going to be raising your hand on this stuff. But of you that use computers to message, talk to people, who here has ever communicated with people that you don't know or have never met in person via computer messaging systems, social media, email? Who here has ever communicated with people you've never met before on social media websites or messaging services? Okay. Again, we're going to have the younger crowd here, I'm sure. So, all right. Juror number 2. Okay. Juror number 4. Thank you. Juror number 5, thank you. All right. Slow down here to make sure I get everything. Juror number 6, thank you. Not juror 6, I'm sorry, juror 7. My bad. Juror 8. Juror 9. Okay. And juror 12.
I got a question.
All right, hold tight. Let me get these hands when I get back to you. We'll talk about it, okay? All right, first, now second panel, juror 17, juror 18, thank you. Okay, anybody else? Second panel, juror 20. Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Second panel. Okay, third panel. Okay, juror 31. And then juror 35, you got a question?
Yeah, would that include forms where you leave an question and then come back and answer, or email?
Just email out a question to somebody you don't know or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll write it down and we'll talk about that, okay? Okay. I'm going to ask, there are 4 different things I'm going to ask if any of you have ever done this or written these types of things or anything like that. And I know I'm not going to get a lot of answers out of this panel because it's more for people that are a little older, like somebody my age or a little older may have done. Who here has written a letter to the editor, like of a newspaper or something like that? Who here has actually written a letter to the editor before? Okay. All right. Sure, too. All right. Letter to the editor. All right. Juror 5. Okay. Juror 11. Thank you. Yes.
You mean the old-fashioned way written to an editor, or does it have to be?
If you've written a letter to the editor to the newspaper, like online, like an actual letter to be published, that's what I'm talking about. So it can be either way.
I was talking about the old way.
Yeah, well, that too. That's included.
Okay.
Yes, yes. No, that's how I'm familiar with letter to the editor originally. So, all right. Out here, let's see. Second panel, juror 19. Anybody else? Second panel. Okay, third panel. No hands. Who here is? I don't know what your local like talk shows are, sports talk, political talk, anything like that. But you know, sometimes they give you an opportunity to call in and voice your opinion and stuff like that on the radio. Who here has actually done that? Okay, first panel. Who's ever called into a talk show or a radio show or a TV show and wanted to voice their opinion? Yes, ma'am. No, I'm just talking about you. Yeah, I'm not talking about anybody. If you got an uncle who's always calling up and getting on the radio show. We've got a guy in Atlanta, Wayne from South Atlanta, that always calls up sports talk. So, okay. All right, juror number 11. Thank you, ma'am. Second panel, third panel. All right. And this is kind of more the online era, I guess. Who here has ever posted an opinion or a comment online in regard to a news article or something like that? Who has ever done that online? Okay. Let's see. Juror number 5. Thank you. Ooh, about the whole back row. Okay. Juror 7. Juror 8. Juror 9. Juror 10. Juror 11. And juror 12. Okay. Second panel. First row, we have juror 17 and juror 18. second row, panel 2, juror 19, juror 20, juror 21. Okay, now third panel. Got juror 31. Juror 32. And juror 36. Okay, kind of last on this topic of whether you've done any of these things or not. Is there anybody here who either operates, writes for, or contributes regularly to a blog? Anybody here actually is the person operating a blog, or you write for a blog, or you contribute regularly to a blog? Okay. Juror 5. Thank you. Anybody else in panel 1? No. Oh, sorry. Juror 2. Great, thanks. Panel 2. Panel 3. No hand. Oh, juror 35.
Question, would that be Facebook, because that's a big blog?
I honestly did not consider that a blog, but I'll write that down then. Do you have like, did you create like a, okay. So you've got like a page dedicated to something. Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, anybody else I missed? Okay, who here, and I don't mean just having watched it in passing, but who here regularly or enjoys watching fictional, legal related TV shows? Who, like Law and Order, CSI, Boston Legal, all that kind of stuff. See, in TV world, that doesn't happen, right? Y'all understand this is going to take a little longer than an hour? Okay. Okay. Let's see. Juror number 2, thank you. Juror number 5. All right. Juror 7. Juror 8. Juror 9. See, the great thing about this is Mr. Evans is very OCD, so I know this is going to drive him crazy. Juror 10. Juror 11. And juror 12. All right. Second panel, juror 13. Oh, hold on one second. Let me get this row right here I'm turned to. So juror 17 and 18. I'm going to get to that in a second. This is fictional legal TV shows like Law and Order, CSI, Boston Legal, and I'm going to ask y'all an individual to tell me what it is you watch. I'm always get some answers of shows I've never heard of, but we'll talk about political shows in a minute and stuff like that. Okay, so juror 19, juror 20, juror 21, juror 22, juror 24, okay, third panel, juror 26, juror 28, okay, juror 31, and juror 32, and juror 35. All right, I've broken this down originally into 2 questions, but I'm just going to combine it for sake of speeding this along. Who here watches more of a like a reality-based TV show or something that discusses legal topics? And that can be stuff from Forensic Files, First 48, to the talk shows like Nancy Grace, Anderson Cooper, and things like that. Who watches those type of shows? Okay, we'll look at the first panel. Okay. Juror number 2. Okay. Juror 6. Juror 7. Juror 8. Juror 9. Juror 10. Okay. Second panel. Got nobody on the first row. Second row, juror 20. And juror 24. And last panel, we have juror 31. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped juror 36, or excuse me, 26. Okay, and back to juror 31, 32, and juror 36. All right, is anybody here who has ever watched a legal documentary or a docudrama or listened to like a legally related podcast? And what I'm talking about is you got shows on TV now, like on HBO and things like that, that are either fiction or nonfiction or kind of a combination of both. For example, like TV shows that Making a Murderer, People versus O.J. Simpson, which kind of tried to reenact the O.J. case, American Crime, okay, and like podcasts, AGC is doing a podcast called Breakdown, things like that. So if you've ever listened to any of that type of stuff or watched that type of stuff, please raise your hand. Okay, juror number 2, thank you. Juror 4. Juror 5. Juror 6. Juror 7. Juror 8. Juror 9. Okay, nobody else. Second panel, okay. Juror 16. Second row, second panel, juror 19, juror 20, juror 21, and third panel, juror 26, juror 28, see, juror 31, juror 32, and juror 34, and juror 36. Who here has ever read a book about a murder trial? A nonfiction book about a murder trial? Okay. All right. Juror number 2. Juror 5. Juror 11. Okay, second panel, juror 20, second row of panel 2. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, third panel, juror 26. And juror 36. Okay, now I ask this question. I don't mean you just read a John Grisham book or something, but is anybody here really into fictional books that are about murder cases, crime novels, things like that? Is anybody here who's really into fictional books about that type of subject? Okay. Panel 1, panel 2, it's juror 21. All right. Anybody else? Juror 20. Sorry. Juror 26 in panel 3. Juror 27. And juror 36. Finally, kind of on this kind of TV media knowledge about the legal system. Final question: is anybody here who's actually followed an actual criminal trial, either by going to court and being in a courtroom and watching the trial, or by keeping up with it on TV, not just seeing it in the news, but actually actively keeping up with it because you were interested in it? You know, we've had several of those over the years, from OJ to Michael Jackson to Beretta. Y'all remember him too? So, okay. Has anybody here ever gone to a courtroom and watched a trial, or followed one on TV because you were really interested in it? Okay. Juror 2. Juror 3. Juror 5. Juror 7. Juror 8. Juror 9. Juror 10. Okay. And second panel, we got juror 13. Okay. Second row, panel 2, juror 20. Juror 21. Juror 22. Juror 26. And finally, juror 36. Okay, I know the judge has already asked you several questions. We've got a lot of information about you, about everybody, your kids, grandkids, things like that. I'm going to ask a couple of questions kind of following up in that nature. First of all, in addition to taking care of a child, is there anybody here who's ever had to care for another person, even if they're an adult, because either they've been very sick and incapacitated, or they're disabled, or somebody with special needs? Is there anybody here that's ever had to also do that? Okay. Let me write down juror 7 first, and then. Okay, and juror 9.
If it's a job and a
Yes.
nursing home and that.
Sure. Okay. Juror 10, thank you. I got you too, juror 9, sorry. Anybody else? First panel. Okay. Second panel. Juror 13, thank you. Juror 16. Juror 17. Juror 18. All right. Second row, juror 19. Juror 21. 22, 23, and 24. All right, last panel, juror 25. Juror 29 and 30. Juror 29. Juror 30. And last row, juror 33. Okay. And that's it. Yes. Okay. Who here volunteers with children currently or has in the past? You know, you're a Cub Scout leader, Boy Scout leader, sports, volunteer coaching, stuff like that. Okay. Juror 2, thank you. Juror 5, thank you. Juror 6, thank you. Juror 8, Juror 9, Juror, 12. Second panel, Juror 13, Juror 15, Juror 18. Okay. Panel 2, second row. Juror 19, Juror 22, Juror 23. And last panel, first row, Juror 29, Juror 30, Juror 32, Juror 35, and Juror 36. Okay, now this next question, if you've already put on your questionnaire, you talked about what your job is, and you said, you know, I work as a teacher, or I work in a paid capacity with children, if you've already put that in your questionnaire or said it out loud, you don't have to raise your hand again. But for those people who don't have an employment that's obvious that you work with children, is there anybody here who is, you haven't answered yet, but in the past you have, or in some capacity you worked in a paid capacity with children? Even though you're not teaching now and you haven't told us about it, but you used to do that, or you used to work as a paid camp counselor or something like that. If you haven't already told us about it. Okay. Thank you. Juror 2, you picked it up. You started answering everything. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. We appreciate that. Okay. Juror 7. Okay. Juror 10. Juror 12. All right, second panel. Juror 13. Second row, panel 2. Juror number 20. Juror 22. Juror 23. And then last panel, no hands. Okay, this is always an interesting one. Who here has ever had a bad experience with law enforcement? What I mean by bad experience is it's something that sticks out in your mind. Either you were falsely charged with murder, and that wasn't good for you, or it can be anything like maybe you were given a speeding ticket and the officer was a jerk to you, or something like that. Has anybody ever had a bad experience with law enforcement? Okay. Juror number 2. Juror number 4. Okay, anybody else in the first panel? Okay, second panel. All right, first row, Juror 16. Thank you. And Juror 18. Thank you. Okay. Next row, no hands. Third panel. Okay. Juror 25. Thank you. Juror 27. Thank you, sir. Anybody else in that? And then final row, no hands. Okay. Who here has had a good experience with law enforcement, such that it sticks out in your mind? A good experience, not just you saw the police do a good job, but something that sticks out in your mind. You've had a good experience with law enforcement that really comes to mind. Okay. All right. Juror number 2. Juror number 4. You know, y'all don't just have to say good too, because you said bad, right? All right, juror 5.
It was good after it was bad.
All right, we'd like to hear that. All right, juror 5, thank you. Juror 6, thank you. Okay, anybody else? Second row, okay. Second panel. Juror 13, thank you. Juror 17, thank you. Juror 18. Okay. Second panel, second row, okay. Juror 19. Juror 20. Anybody else? Okay, juror 22. And last panel, got juror 25. Juror 26. And juror 36. All right. Kind of another version of that, I guess, not just law enforcement or police officers or anything like that. Who here has ever had a bad experience with a district attorney's office, a prosecutor's office? I'm not saying not just like Cobb County, I know y'all aren't from there, or Glenn County or anything like that. It could be anywhere. Has anybody here ever had a bad experience with a prosecutor's office? Okay, first panel, no hands. Second panel, third. Okay, has anybody here ever had an extraordinarily or something that comes to mind as a good experience with a prosecutor's office? It could be here in Glenn County or elsewhere. Okay, first panel, no hands. Second panel, juror 13 in the second panel. Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Second panel and third panel, no hands. Okay, is there anyone here that feels that either you yourself, a family member, or a close friend has ever been treated unfairly by the judicial system? Now that can be in a criminal case, could be, you think maybe in the court system, there was a divorce where they weren't treated fairly by the people, the players in the case or something like that. Is there anybody here that feels that you know somebody, either yourself, family member, or friend who's been treated unfairly by the justice system? Or the court system, sorry, okay. Juror number 2, thank you. Juror 5, thank you. Juror 6, thank you. Okay, anybody else? Second panel. Juror 14, thank you very much. Juror 16, thank you. Second row, panel 2. I'm sorry?
Need to ask a question.
Okay, well, let me get the second row, then I'll get to you. Okay, thank you. Juror 22. Okay. And juror 25.
Does that mean, things pertaining like disability, hearings and things like that?
It could. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll write your name down and we'll talk about it, okay? Thank you. All right, anybody else? Third panel? No. All right, now I'm going to ask a question. It's not intended to embarrass anybody, but we have to ask some questions about your experience with law enforcement and things like that. If I had to answer this question, my hand would be up too. So if any of you, either yourself, a family member, or a close friend, I'm not talking about just somebody you kind of know, somebody that's a very close friend, ever been, and I'm not just talking about convicted of a crime, but ever been arrested or prosecuted for a crime, whether it was dismissed or not. Is anybody here, yourself, a family member, and I'm not talking like a fifth cousin that lives in Alaska that you never met before, but yourself, family member, or a close friend that's ever been arrested or charged or convicted of a crime? Okay. Juror number 2, thank you. Juror 4, thank you. Juror 5, thank you. Juror 6, Juror 7, Juror 8, Juror 9, Juror 10, Juror 12. Okay, second panel, 13, Juror 16, okay, Juror 18. First two, okay, second row. Make sure I got my bearings straight. Okay, second row, second panel. Juror 20, Juror 21, Juror 22, Juror 23, and Juror 24. Now, third panel, Juror 25. Thank you. 27, 28, 30, 32, 35, and 36. Okay, I know this is a military town. There's a lot of former military and things like that. So, kind of, in addition to being arrested or something, kind of separate from that. Does anybody here either have yourself, a family member, or a close friend that's ever been subject to a court-martial? If so, raise your hand. Unless you've already raised your hand for arrest or something like that. Anybody that's been subject to a court-martial? Okay. Nobody in the first panel. Nobody in the second panel.
Question?
Yes, ma'am.
Would that pertain to a former student?
Let me write it down. We'll tell you, it's probably, we won't have to talk long on it, but okay. All right. Third panel, anybody? Okay. No hands. Okay, is there anyone here that either yourself, a family member, or a close friend you feel has been falsely accused of a crime before? Anybody here, either you think yourself has, a friend, or a close friend, or a family member ever been falsely accused of a crime? Okay. First panel. Okay. Juror 4. Thank you. Juror 7. Thank you. Anybody else? Second panel. Second row. Juror 21. Thank you. Okay. Third panel, Juror 25. All right, I think that's it for that. Okay. Talked about legal training. So let me ask, has anybody here ever had to be a witness in a court proceeding? What I mean by that is you've actually come into either a courtroom or something like a courtroom, had to raise your hand, take an oath, testify before either a judge or a jury. Okay. And that could be criminal, civil, whatever. Okay. Juror 2. Juror 7. Juror 11. And Juror 12. Juror 16. Juror 17. And Juror 18. Okay. Second panel, second row. Juror 22. Juror 23. And Juror 24. Now, last panel, Juror 25, 26, 28, and 30. And then last row, no hands. Is there anybody here who's ever had to provide a statement to a police officer in that they came out and took a report and wrote down what you had to say about an incident that's happened, or something that a traffic accident was really bad that you had to give a statement about? Who here has ever given a report to the police? Okay, probably gonna be a lot of people for this. Okay. Let's see, juror 3. Juror 4. Juror 5. Juror 6. Juror, whole back row almost, okay. Juror 7. Juror 8. Juror 9. Juror 11. Juror 12. Okay. Juror 13, second panel. Juror 14. Juror 15. Juror 16. Juror 18. Juror 19. Juror 21. Juror 22. Juror 24. Okay. Last panel. 25. 26. 27. Oh, excuse me, 27, did you have your hand up? Okay, I just want to make sure, sorry. Juror 28. Juror 30. Okay, last panel. Juror 32. Juror 34. Juror 35. And juror 36. Yes, ma'am.
Does that include a school incident?
A what? I'm sorry?
School incident, school police, any kind of police officer?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. No, we try to keep it light in here a bit. You know, we're all stuck in this really odd situation. It's kind of unnatural, but I know there are some serious matters we have to talk about to see if you have any involvement or experience that would affect your ability to be a fair and impartial to both sides. Kind of starting on that, has anybody here ever made an allegation or a complaint of child abuse, neglect, or misconduct, either to the police or to DFACS or another agency? Has anybody here ever had to report suspicions of child abuse, neglect, or misconduct? If you've ever had to do that, please raise your hand. Okay, first panel. Okay, no hands. Second panel. Expect we get our school system people here again. So, okay, juror 17. Thank you, ma'am. Juror 19, second row, second panel. Thank you. Juror 24. Okay. Last panel, juror 30. And juror 36. Is there anybody here who either yourself or a family member or a close friend has ever been investigated for child abuse, neglect, or misconduct? And it doesn't matter whether they were eventually arrested or charged. Is there anybody here that either yourself, family member, or a friend has ever been investigated for that, whether they were arrested or charged or anything or not? Okay. Juror number 7, thank you. Okay. Juror 11, thank you. Juror 12, thank you. Okay. Second panel, okay. Juror 13. Juror 16, thank you, ma'am. Juror 19. Juror 20. And then last panel, excuse me, yeah, that is last panel. My counting's off again. Okay, Juror 28. And no other hands. Is there anybody here, either yourself or somebody very close to you, either family or friend, has ever had to deal with the sudden, unexpected death of a child? Has anybody here ever had to, and I don't mean like, you know, an adult son or something like that, not to minimize that, but has anybody here, either yourself or somebody close to you, has had to deal with the sudden passing of a child? Okay, juror number 2. Juror 3. Juror 5. Juror 6, thank you. Okay. Juror 7. Juror 8. Juror 11. Thank you. Okay. Second panel, okay. Juror 15. Juror 16. Okay, going to second row, second panel. Juror 20. Juror 22. Okay, and last panel, first row, Juror 25. Okay, nobody else. Is there anybody here who's either had a family member or somebody that was close to you, not just knew somebody that's close to you, that has ever been the victim of a homicide? Has anybody here had a family member or somebody close to you that's been a victim of a homicide? If so, raise your hand. First panel, no hands. Second panel, Juror 13, thank you. Anybody else? First panel, or first row, no. Second row, Juror 22. Juror 23. And third panel, no hands. All right. We're winding down here, getting to the last batch. I'm sure y'all are thrilled, probably hungry. Okay, we've heard a lot about Cobb County. Who here is familiar with Cobb County, Georgia? Okay, is anybody here that's never heard of Cobb County, Georgia? All right, we had a few people. All right, well, we can discuss that, I guess. I can probably skip over that a little bit and cover individual voir dire. Let me ask this. Is there anybody here who has family members or close friends that live in Cobb County, Georgia? Anybody here? Okay. All right. Juror number 3, thank you. Juror 5. Juror 8. Okay, second panel, no hands. Third panel, Juror 35. Just so you know, we're right northwest of Fulton County, which is Atlanta, so we're a metro area suburb, just to the north and west. Has anybody here ever been to Cobb County? Who here has been to Cobb County? Okay. You know what? Let me narrow that to the issues in this case. How about that? Let me ask these following locations, and let me know if you're actually familiar with these locations. Okay. First, Chick-fil-A located at 2485 Cumberland Parkway in Cobb County, Georgia. Okay. And it's right over kind of on the Fulton-Cobb County border over near 285 in Paces Ferry. Okay, so that's juror 5. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Second panel, no. Third panel, juror 26. Thank you. Who here is familiar with the Acres Mill Shopping Center in Cobb County, Georgia? Kind of near the Cumberland Mall area. Okay. Juror number 5. Okay. Anybody else? Sorry, juror number 3. Okay. Second panel, no. Third panel, juror 26. Home Depot has a lot of employees in Cobb County. Headquarters are there. Is anybody here familiar with the Home Depot Treehouse location in Cobb County, Georgia? It's another separate office building away from the headquarters. Nobody first panel, second, third. Okay. Who here is familiar with Cobb County, the Home Depot headquarters in Cobb County, over in that same area, Paces Ferry, Cumberland area? Juror 5, thank you. Okay. Second panel and third panel. Is there anyone here familiar with Stonebridge Church in Marietta? Probably not, but okay.
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it? Okay, great. Anybody else? Okay. All right. It's a question that may be more for a younger crowd, but is there anybody here, or you may know some people that have done this, anybody here, either yourself, family member, or a close friend, ever been in a romantic relationship or dating relationship or a sexual relationship with someone they've met online for the first time? Basically, they met via the internet or online. Is anybody here, either yourself or you know somebody or a family member who's dated online or struck up a relationship online? Okay. Juror number 2. Juror 3. Juror 4. Juror 5. Juror 7. Juror 9. Anybody else first panel? No. Okay. Second panel. Okay. First row, juror 18. Second row, juror 20. Third row, third panel, let's see, we've got juror 30. And juror 35. Okay, specific to that, we're going to be taking some of the questions you answered about being familiar with the case up separately later. What I want to ask is some other questions just generally. Is there anybody here who, either yourself or somebody you know, has ever forgotten or almost forgotten or left a child or animal in a vehicle, in a motor vehicle? Anybody here ever done that, or know somebody who's done that or almost done that? Forgotten a child in a car or an animal in a car? Okay. Juror 11. Thank you. All right. Second panel. Okay.
I found the kid. I was a child myself, wandering around with that
Yeah, we'll talk about it then. Okay, thank you. All right. And third panel. Okay, juror 30. Thank you. Okay. Does anybody here ever, yourself, or does anybody here know anybody personally that has intentionally or has left their kid in the car inappropriately for a long amount of time? Okay. Nobody in the jury. Okay, is anyone here who's actually read of or learned of news accounts of a child being left in a car, whether it be intentional, negligent, or other? Anybody here ever heard of that? Okay. Let's see. Let me repeat that. Okay. Let me ask it a different way. Is there anybody here who's never heard or never heard a news account or a media report or anything like that of a child being left in a car for a long period of time, either negligently, intentionally, or something else? We're forgetting. Anybody here ever not hear that? Okay. I don't see any hands. How many of you here actually currently transport children in a car seat, or have in the past, either grandchildren, children, things like that? Who here in the past or either currently has transported a child in a car seat? Okay. And let me ask it a different way, I think, because we're going to get a lot of hands. Who here has never actually transported a child, whether it's your grandchild, a cousin, something like that? Who's never transported a child in a car? Kind of figured number 4, so. No offense. Be glad that you're young. All right. Juror 11, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. See, second panel. Juror 17. All right, juror 21. Okay, juror 23. And last row, or last panel, no hands. Okay, who here has been responsible for being the person to transport a child to daycare? Who here has ever been the person responsible for transporting a child to daycare? Okay. Yes, picking up or dropping off. Okay. Who here has ever been responsible for that? Okay. And let me, I'm trying to gauge the numbers here. I'll just go ahead and go with you have transported then. Okay. Yes. Okay. Juror 1. Juror 2, juror 3, juror 5, juror 6. I think maybe we should have worded this the other way. We're already in it though. Transport, daycare, juror 7. Juror 8, juror 9, juror 10. Okay. All right, second panel, juror 13, juror 14, 15, 16. Okay, second row, second panel, juror 19, 20, 22, 24. And then last panel. Okay, juror 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 32, 33, 34, and 36. Is there anybody here who's ever driven a Hyundai Tucson? Anybody here ever driven? Let me rephrase that. Anybody here ever driven or been in a Hyundai Tucson? Okay. All right, that's juror 4. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir. All right, juror 5. Okay, juror 10. Y'all laugh. When I picked up my wife for our first date, I warned her that I drove a Nissan Versa. She had no idea what that even was. And she probably wouldn't have gone out with me if she'd have known beforehand. So, all right. Anybody else first panel? Second panel? Okay. No hands. Third panel? No hands. Okay. I know in a case like you've heard the charges, this is the defendant is charged with murder. This involves the death of a minor. And obviously, I think most people would say, you know, you're not interested and would not want to, prefer not to have to listen to evidence or look at photos or anything like that. That's not what I'm asking about. Is there anybody here, though, aside from that, that has some personal experience or something that they just absolutely could not listen to evidence or could not look at the photographs? Is there anybody who just could not physically or could not do that? First panel, no hands. Second panel, juror 16. Okay. Juror 19. And yes, ma'am. Basically, I'm just asking. I think most people would say they would not want to have to listen to evidence or see evidence involving the investigation of a homicide or something like that. Is there anybody here that just could not do that? Exactly, for some personal experience that they've had, you can't. You're not able to do that. Okay. Is that okay? So, and juror 14. Okay. And was there another hand? Or, okay, juror 26. Thank you. Already asked that one. Okay. Is there anybody here who has ever investigated the criminal statutes of the state of Georgia or somewhere else involving, you've actually looked up the law on murder or homicide, cruelty to children, children, I don't know what's going on, children, or sexual exploitation of children? Has anybody here ever researched those criminal statutes or statutes like that in either the state of Georgia or anywhere else? Okay. I figured maybe there were some criminal law people in here, but okay, no hands. Okay, just a couple of other questions, and I'll warn you ahead of time. When attorneys say just a few more questions, just ignore that. We really don't mean it. We're going to keep talking. I do have just...
I was seriously going to ask about that.
Yes, I have 6 other topics. There's 6 other questions, I mean. I can get through them in maybe 5 minutes at most.
Oh,
Okay. Now you can make me speak. Okay.
sorry.
Is there any...
Let me say this. Proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Is there anybody here who has ever been through a divorce? Okay. Anybody here ever been through a divorce? Okay. Yeah, I'll be raising my hand too. So, all right. Juror 6.
That's us personally.
Yes, you personally, not knowing somebody or anything like that. Somebody personally been through. Okay. Juror 6, thank you. Juror 11, thank you. Okay. Juror 13, thank you, ma'am. Juror 14, thank you, ma'am. Second row, second panel, juror 21. Juror 22. Juror 23. And last panel, juror 26. 27. 29. And last row, juror 33. Juror 34. And juror 35. A couple of those I think I can reserve for individual questions for y'all following up. Okay, a few other questions. In a case like this is not a death penalty case. In a case in Georgia, unless it's a case that involves a death penalty, the jury has no role in sentencing whatsoever. If there is a sentence, if there is a verdict for which a sentence is to be given, it is to come from the judge, and that's the responsibility of the judge. The jury has no role, is not allowed to consider anything about possible sentencing if there is any. People have different opinions about the law, for whatever it is, regarding sentencing and things of that nature. Sentencing's too harsh these days, too light, yada, yada, yada. That's not what I'm asking. Is there anybody here, though, that has such strong opinions about the issue of sentencing in the criminal justice system that you would not be able to put the issue of sentencing out of your mind if instructed by the judge? You just could not do that.
Judge, I'm going to object to that question as we approach.
All right, you can go.
So everybody understand the question? Okay. Is there anybody here who who cannot put the issue of sentencing out of their mind and would not be able to follow the law as instructed by the judge? Okay, nobody in panel 1, nobody in panel 2, nobody in panel 3. Kind of in that same vein, just people have opinions about the law, what it should be, what it shouldn't be, things like that. Is there anybody here that has such strong feelings on the law that if the judge instructed you had to follow this, you would disregard it and not follow the law? Anybody here that would do that? Okay. Panel 1, nobody. Panel 2, nobody. Panel 3, nobody. Just 2 other questions. One, is there anybody who has such strong feelings about the criminal justice system that it would affect your ability to be fair and impartial to both sides in this case? Panel 1, nobody. Panel 2, nobody. Panel 3, nobody. Okay. And finally, I'm going to ask if a question regarding judgment. Judgment can mean different things to different people. In a criminal case, what judgment means is to determine whether the state has proven the charges in the indictment beyond a reasonable doubt according to the law and the evidence, and render a judgment or a verdict as to whether the state has done that or not. Nothing more than that. Now, some people have a problem passing judgment, so to speak, for either moral, philosophical, religious, or a myriad of other reasons. What I'm asking, is there anybody here that has some strong moral, philosophical, religious reason that they feel they would have trouble rendering a verdict in this case? If so, please raise your hand. Okay. Panel 1, no hands. Panel 2, okay. Juror 16. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Judge, that's all the general questions I have.
Well, might help if you could hear me. All right, we put in a good and substantial morning, and made good steps through the jury process, selection process. It's a good time to take a break. Let's break until, let's break until 1:35 in your jury assembly room. Keep an open mind. Don't discuss the matter with each other or anyone else, or let anyone speak with you about the case. Absolutely no contact with the attorneys, parties, witnesses to the case. Do not in any way make any independent investigation about this case, and particularly as it relates to electronic ability to do research about the case or topics related to it, about exposure to media coverage whatsoever. If you get tempted, tell yourself, I can't do that. Judge said I can't do that. Here's what happens if somebody does that. Everything is going to come to a screeching halt, and we're going to have to spend time investigating if we have a problem or not. As you can tell, jury selection process takes a substantial amount of time. If we don't have any glitches, it's going to take a lot of time. If we have glitches, it's going to take a lot more time. Glitches affects everyone in this courtroom. It's important you follow these instructions so that we can, when I say expedited, I know you're going to laugh, but so I won't use that word. So we can move as efficiently and as effectively through this process as possible. So I'm telling you so that your time isn't consumed by us having to stop and take a look to make sure everything's fine or not fine. So be careful here. Now let's be more positive about things, and let me say I hope you have a very lovely lunch. I hope you don't get too wet, and we're in recess until downstairs at 1:35. Thank you all. Mm-hmm. before we break, a little bit of housekeeping. The clerk that's managing the jurors recognizes that it's cold. And if you can't tell it's getting a bit better, it is. She asked them to manage it so it wouldn't be quite so cold. Property maintenance management around here, I think, made a reasonable thought that we were gonna have a lot of people and it needed to be cooler. But then you've got this weather front that's come in that we haven't been outside. It may be as muggy as I'll get out. I don't know. But I'm inclined to think that they were trying to be proactive and make sure people didn't get hot like they did yesterday. And it got a little cool, so that's gonna be better. Do you want to build a record any more of the sidebar we had? The court reporter was able to take it down regarding Mr. Kilgore's objection, but if you want to put something more on the record, you can. If you're satisfied with your arguments in the court's, well, I know you're not satisfied with the court ruling, but that it was clearly articulated on the court's record, that's fine. But I wanted to develop you of the opportunity to develop the record a bit more if you want.
Thank you, Judge. We've made our objections.
Thank you, sir. And are you satisfied with your argument?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right, let's be in recess. Y'all can come back at 1:40. Everybody have a good lunch.
Thank you.
This is just are there no types with the product? Let's do that. Wait till they all get back. You know how that is. They get real paranoid. All right, let's get some lunch, people. All right.
Trash can is not catching water. That's right. I'm gonna ask that question. The lead into that. Then you get horse.